everyone, it's Carolyn Ellis from BrillianceMastery.com, and thank you so much for joining me for this short video today. This video is part of an ongoing series I've created called Lead Conversations That Count, where I'm sharing some tips and insights from my book, Lead Conversations That Count, How Busy Managers Run Great Meetings. And I can't wait to share today's tip with you. It's called Lead with Relationship. And this is, I think, such an important tip. It's a big bugaboo and pet peeve of mine, so I'm really happy to share with you about it today. So here's the thing, with the context that we work in, I mean, let's face it, there's always more work than you have time to get done. Plus, we're trying to do that from this base level of ongoing chronic stress that we've had from shifting to working virtually, to maybe working hybrid part of the time, or different people working in different ways. Homeschooling our kids, not homeschooling our kids. There's just so much on our collective plates, especially in the last couple of years. It's hard. So people are kind of ragged and our emotional resilience is down. So we don't bounce back. We don't have that same kind of ability to pick ourselves up when we face a challenge. And people are kind of cranky pants these days, I find. So the challenge is that when there's tough work to do, sometimes we default to like, we just got to get this work done. Let's focus on the to-do list and let's check those things off. To-do lists are important planning tools and making sure you're, getting everything organized the way it needs to get organized. But the thing is, it's not just about the checklist. It's not just about the transaction. What you really need to focus on, I'm arguing, is to focus on the quality of relationships. So make your focus when you're leading that meeting more relational than transactional. Because here's the thing, when relationships are strong and people trust each other, you really have that sense that everybody's got each other's back. Every metric that you want to measure, productivity, efficiency, your resilience, your innovation, all of that will go up. And the friction in the system will reduce. So when relationships are not good, they're not healthy, people are really combative or withdrawn or disengaged, everything, even the basics of getting work done gets a lot harder. And that is just so tough. So I want to give you a couple of tips today to help you lead with relationship. So the first tip is called Orient. And Orient is actually a framework that I use. It's the second step in my COUNT roadmap model that I present in the book. And it's about taking the time to really put yourself in the shoes of the people who are going to be in that meeting. So you're not just looking at the agenda, what do we have to do, what are we going to talk about, but that you take that moment to really look at what's the perspective from the eyes of those people that you're working with. Dial up your empathy and just notice what are some needs that maybe not on the agenda that are likely to show up that you're going to have to address. So when you do that Orient step, you're naturally teeing yourself up to be in a more effective position in terms of supporting healthy and nurturing relationships. The second tip I want to share with you is to listen to the wisdom in the room. So this is a real trap for people. Meetings are not all about just talking at people through a camera. It's really about how do you create space for people to be welcome to come in and to share their views, share their questions, ask and confront people even to say, wait, is this the right path that we should be going down now? So we really need to think that, especially in the context of virtual and hybrid meetings. But how do we make sure that we're listening and asking more and telling and just monologuing a lot less? Third tip for you today is to acknowledge people. Okay, maybe this is going back to something that your parents told you when you were growing up, but I mean, it's so important and we often forget this because it never shows up on a corporate to-do list. Acknowledge people at the end of a meeting. And I'm not talking about just acknowledging people at the end of a meeting. Hey, good work, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. I'm talking about really making it personal. So be specific in how you name that acknowledgement. Jerry, that was a great point you made. It really made me understand this issue differently. Thank you for raising that issue. Sending an email afterwards to say, I thought that was a really cool idea. Do you need some support with that? Thank you so much for your initiative. Do those little things to really acknowledge people from a generous and authentic place. I think it sets a beautiful tone in the team. And also, guess what? You're the leader of the meeting. People will follow suit. So they're going to follow the example that you set. And can you imagine What kind of a team environment can you create if you set that tone of natural, authentic acknowledgement on a regular basis? Ooh, I would want to go to your next meeting. So there you have it, 3 tips for today. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to send me an email. I would love to hear from you. And if there's any support that you might need in terms of what you're doing to do great work in your organization, I'm happy to connect with you and have a chat. Thanks so much, and we'll see you again soon.